Well, hello everyone. The Ontario Gardener here, back with another PlateUp one shot. And today we're going to be doing pies. Now, as the pizza one, as I did, I basically go through the cards that I get as we go on, and I basically do a run from day one all the way to franchise, and basically kind of explain as we go along how I go about doing it. It may give you guys a bit of insight on maybe layout or strategy if you're having trouble with franchising. So, already at the end of day one, and now one of my main strategies is if you have as many or fewer groups than you do tables, no matter what dish you're serving, call everybody, because it will give you a bit of extra cash. So here you go. I buy the extra plates because now I don't have to do dishes, and I got my research desk on day one. Obviously, it's being put in the cabinet. Now we shows you that we still only have 3 groups. I do change the sink around a bit because we're dipping the flour into the sink to get a bit of dough instead of double doing it or walking over to the sink. And because we only have 3 groups and we have 4 tables, technically 5 tables, we can call everybody. And because we have only 3 groups and we have 4 main tables, I don't have to do dishes at all because we only will have a maximum of 6 people, and a plate stack has quite a bit more than 6, of course. So as you see, as I go around doing it, and what takes long with pies is basically kneading the dough. That would be nice to automate. Sometimes it's not in the cards to automate it right away. Sometimes you can't automate it until day 12. Here we got our research desk on end of day 2, which is really, really good. I buy the first one. I typically do this. I buy the first one. I buy the second one, and then I'll do my research. Here we go. I'm calling everybody again because we have plenty of chairs, plenty of tables for all of our groups. And as you can see here, we have 4 of 4, actually 8 customers. And we have the dining room table, or the coffee table, so we could actually call 5 groups in. Pies do give you 8 coins per pie, so that's not terrible. And as you can see here, I'm taking 1 out, and because you only have meat pies in the beginning here, you can preload the tables. And what preloading a table means is basically, you'll see it here, is I plate this one, I put it on the table. As long as you don't take their order, it will just sit there and it won't get taken. Now, if you do take their order, or if you have individual dining and if you have instant service, not individual dining, if you have instant service, you can't preload tables with instant service, because if you do, the problem is as soon as their order is taken by themselves, like instantly, it'll consume the first dish that's there. So you can't want to preload. Here we go, mushroom pie, Victorian standards. I was really debating this actually for a bit. I was like, okay, Victorian standards is basically a free card when you're serving diner style like this. It's a free card because the effect of them seeing you doesn't count. But I'm like, you know what? I want to reduce the amount of customers I have. It's not going to really add that much difficulty. And another strategy that I have, which if you guys have watched my videos in the past, 100% is I like to have double stacked tables. To have 2 tables, like you can see there, the middle table is 2, because it pushes the messes back, because the mess will only spawn 1 tile across unless you have a community card or a customer card that makes the messes spread farther. But again, there's not like it's going to pop up every single run you have. It could pop up, but it's unlikely that it does because of the sheer number of cards that are available. So if you push back all of your tables, if you have the cash and the money to do so, and if you like playing that way, having it that way, as you'll see later on, if you double up all the tables, it does lend itself to auto dishes or auto serving because you have that extra slot of table. Here we go. Already just completed day 4. Now we're on to day 5. I'm here, as you see, I already got my first safety hob, which I love the safety hobs, by the way. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep the oven there because I may end up needing it. And again, I buy the other table, and I like just turning them a certain way. That's the only reason why I go out there and do it like this. And here I'm debating what to keep, and I'm like, you know what? Having another safety hob would be great. And again, I am using the phone because I need money. As you see, we only had 62 coins, and we ended up getting what we called 4 groups in. So we ended up getting an extra 12 or 20 coins. But any bit counts. And here, having the safety hub really is helpful because you go down there, you can just preload one on there no matter what it is. As you see here, I got a double mushroom, boom, boom. And then while I'm going and getting the second one cooked or second one made, the first one is cooking. And then, of course, the second one in the oven will always supersede or always be faster than the safety hub. The safety hub is 0.75 speed. an oven is 2x speed, so it's more than 2.5 times, like 2.6 or 2.7 times quicker. Here we have Deco Day, and I mean, I kind of debate decos all the time. If I'm having a longevity run, I definitely will try to spend the money in the beginning, and here I'm pointing out that I got 5 plants on one thing, which is ridiculous. I opt to not buy anything and actually opt out to do any decorations. So I'm like, you know what, I really don't need any decorations. It depends on, again, as I was saying before, the longevity of my run. Do I want this to go far into overtime? Is that the goal? If it is, then definitely buy decorations on day 5. Try to spend what you can. But another way that I go about decorations is if I cannot buy at least one full tier of decorations at like on day 5, I don't bother buying any, because there's no point to hold on to some, because you could just essentially save money for next time, like until you hit day 10. And once you hit day 10, if you're just looking to franchise, you're not going to get much out of it. But again, if you are looking long term, if you want to go well into overtime, by all means, stock up on your decorations. And here we go. As you see, we're rolling along. We're on day 6. We do get another card today, and I'm waiting around here, of course, for them to eat. Luckily, we don't have leisurely eating or anything like that. Now, we do have our day 6 card, and we have choice between discounts and chips. I'm like, you know what? Let's bring the group count down. Here I go over there to point out that the group count didn't go down at all. We had 5, and now we still have 5. But again, 15% of 6 is 0.9, so it's not even technically 1. So it's hit or miss. And here I'm debating about how I want to lay things out a bit, because we do have the chips, and I moved some countertops around a bit, because you'll see what I end up doing is line the chips up on the bottom. I ended up buying another table, of course. I just need one more to complete the four stack of 2. I move a couple things around, and what do I end up putting into the I'm not sure what I even put into the research desk. I can't see what it is. It might be a copy desk. I'm not sure what it was. It doesn't matter at this point. Again, we only have 5 groups, so I call everybody, and you can see they're waiting. But again, I can preload. I keep saying preload, but I pre-make 3 chips right away. And as you see, they are wanting chips right away. Again, the beauty of having the double safety hob is you can set 2 pies, and you set it to run. Boom, boom. That one's doing its thing. By the time this one goes on, I put it on there. I go grab a plate. End up washing dishes, because I do need to wash a couple dishes. There you go. Serve it. And again, sometimes I dance around between loading up a table next to it or countertop and then serving both at the same time. And other times I don't even bother. I just serve one, run back. As long as you have enough plates and you have enough material and side dishes ready to go, you don't have to worry about too worried about time. As you see, the table at the bottom, I haven't taken their order yet, and they're ticking down a little bit, but it's not a big deal. I'm not bothered by it. Again, it is kind of shaken because we're on 2x speed. Yeah, I ended up here getting a discount desk, which is not what I want. But we'll see what happens later on. I think that's a discount desk. I think it was actually a research desk, and then I turned it into a discount desk because I remember what happens tomorrow. And then here we go. We're over here cleaning messes up, and we're just waiting. On to day 8 now. We got another blueprint cabinet, which is always nice. Now, again, like I said, longevity of your run. If you want to have a far into overtime run, 100% stock up blueprint cabinets, 5, 6 of them, copy desk, potentially a discount desk and everything. And here I'm debating about what I want. I'm like, you know what? Having a workstation would be great for doing for the chips as well as doing the pies, because a workstation has now replaced what used to be called the kneading counter and the chopping counter or something like that. Now it's just a workstation, which is a double X speed for those actions, which is a good thing. And I'm trying to get that, obviously, with my research. And here I know I'm going to be getting a copy desk, and I know I ended up getting a freezer, which is not ideal because we don't really need to freeze, one pie. We don't need to freeze one chip. It doesn't matter. I am keeping a little bit of an eye on there we go. A little bit of an eye on the blueprint desk to a point, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep rocking and rolling here. I do always dance around, never calling anybody when you have a blueprint desk to try to give you that extra kind of oomph to get it in. And other times, like, I'd rather have the money. We're halfway through the day. Nothing popped up. So again, that you can kind of do at your own opinion, how you want to do that type of stuff. Now, for me, it changes every run. And here I'm like, I'm going to give everybody free fries because I had the fries left over. And the way sides work is you can give a person a side without them ordering it, and they'll still take it. It doesn't matter. Here I'm debating about what to get. I'm like, you know what? We got a freezer. Don't want a freezer. I was debating about trying to get another freezer or try to get another safety hob. And here I'm thinking about, do I want to buy the copy desk or don't? do I or don't or do I not want to? And I end up not buying it. And the mistake I made there was I was going to upgrade it to a blueprint desk, and then I just halfway through the run, you'll see here, I actually am like, you know what, I don't want to do that. I was thinking about getting a prep station, but then again, I'm like, what am I need a prep station for? You know, we're already at day 9. We have 6 more days to go. Not saying it wouldn't be beneficial. I'm not sure what I actually end up locking in, if anything at all. And yeah, just keep on rolling, because you know, through your runs, and this is where I say to everybody, people ask questions or whatnot, you always have to be able to adapt. You may have an idea in your head about what you want, how you want the run to go, but you can't be rigid about that. You can't just say, you know, I'm not doing this at all for the run, and then that's that, because it'll never work out. I ended up getting a mixer, which is what I wanted. Well, I didn't know if I wanted it or not, but I'm like, you know, we should try to get some automation going. At the very least, automating the pie crust being made would be great. You'll see later on how that pans out. But again, when you have this few meta groups, I think we had 7 groups or something like that, 6 groups. You don't. There's no real time crunch. You're not having 153 groups or anything like that. You know, I've done runs. My last breakfast bar run, the tier 0, I had 163 groups. It was insanity. And here, you know, things are a lot more laid back. If you call people, of course, it's going to be a lot quicker. And here, I'm like, you know what? Do I want to get another blueprint desk, or do I want the copy desk? So I ended up halting research at all. I kind of pointed it out there. So instead of upgrading the counter to try to get a freezer or to get another workstation, I just left it alone. Here I'm debating, you know what, could pumpkin seeds work? But then the problem with pumpkin seeds is not because it's a starter. The issue with the pumpkin seeds is because every time you get pumpkin seeds, you have the pumpkin to throw out. And I only had the baby bin, and then you have to deal all that. And that's a bad starter to get, because the way starters work, for those of you who don't or may not know, is every single group will order a starter, but not everybody in the group will order a starter. So if you have groups 1 to 2, you may get anywhere between 1 and 2. Now, if you have individual dining, every single person is going to order a starter. It's opposite or different on how desserts work. Desserts work with the group is optional for them to order a dessert, but if they do order a dessert, everybody in the group will order a dessert. So again, you can kind of weigh your options there. Now, for me, if you have, you know, fewer groups, definitely take, well, again, you can do it how you like. I would, you know, definitely take starters, because, you know, you're going to have less starters to do. But again, if you have a lot of groups, maybe you don't want to use starters at all. You just want to do desserts if those cards come up. And here I'm dancing around about which ones to get, because I kind of have 2 mushroom pies and I need meat pies, as you can see here. Get the meat pies on, serve them to everybody, and then again, right back to getting the other meat pie. And then I know I don't need any more fries, so I don't believe I actually make any. I need 2 mushrooms. Here I do my research, because I was debating about what type of mixer. I'm like, you know what, I want a heated mixer to do the chips, but then I also could use, I don't want a heated mixer for the pie crust because it takes too long. The regular mixer and heated mixer, and well, all the mixers are the same. The regular mixer, the heated mixer, and the conveyor mixer are all the same speed for mixing, but a heated mixer is very, 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 very slow when it comes to cooking. I think it's 0.4 speed. A safety hob is 0.75 speed, so it's almost half the speed. So here I kind of switch things around a little bit. I ended up getting 1 workstation. Here I'm debating about getting a second one, but I'm like, you know what? I ended up getting a mixer. I upgraded to a rapid mixer, and decided to buy that one and then just upgrade the next one to try to get into getting a heated mixer. I know I wanted at least 1 heated mixer, but here, as you can tell, having the workstation is great for the chips. Now, in hindsight, a workstation manually does make crusts faster than a rapid mixer does. But again, it's a passive way to do it. And as you see, I kind of flub up a little bit here. And you know what you want to do is you always want to have dough, always want to have flour on the rapid mixer. And what I started doing, as you can see, is I ended up dipping the flour into the sink, because it just makes it that much quicker. Because it only then, I think you'll see it here, I dip it and then put it on, because then the mixer only has 1 action to do instead of having 2 actions to do. Because first you have to knead it into the dough ball, and then the dough ball into the crust, which the second part is what takes longer. We're halfway through the day here. I'm just kind of just running through the motions. We're at day 11. I know we get another card at the end of the next day. And, you know, I call a couple people, then I let it go, call people, let it go. And, you know, I've been really looking for, we're up to day 11. I haven't seen a conveyor about 1 time. Now, if I wouldn't have called everybody, you know, all the time, would I have seen a conveyor belt? I don't know. But I eventually get to, you know, I get to a certain part in the day. I'm like, you know what? I want to try to at least get 1 free ring in or something like that. I don't know if I end up doing it here or not. No, I ended up not getting it in, because if you have all the groups are in or on their way in, sometimes you can get what I call a free ring, where you basically ring the phone and nothing happens. You don't get any customers. It's just like considered a free ring. So here we go. I'm just trying to load up on the last couple things here. We have one fry, and we have a meat or a schmeat and a mushroom. And again, like, as you can see, I'm not sure how many groups we're up to. I'll be able to tell at the end of today. I think we're going to be on 8 groups. We have enough for 4 groups to sit, plus the coffee table. Things are pretty good. And here I ended up getting another mixer. I'm like, okay, heated mixer, great. And here I'm debating about what I want to do. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get a heated mixer for this. I'll put this down here. I can have more chips, because the heated mixer is really, really good. And here I do some re-rolls because I end up getting a conveyor mixer. Funny enough, I'm like, okay, well, do I want to do a conveyor mixer? I'm like, no, because I don't have a conveyor belt feeding it, so there's no reason to do it like that. And I re-roll a bunch here. You'll see I ended up re-rolling on a research desk because I don't need another one. I ended up buying the blueprint desk or blueprint cabinet. Now, again, at day 12, buying one, even if you're just going to franchise, it's a bit of a waste, in my opinion. I ended up buying I ended up buying the trainers because I'm like, you know what, I want to have trainers. I'll be able to be okay. And here I had to stick things in it just to have a re-roll for tomorrow. I ended up not putting the trainers on right away because I forgot about it, because that's usually what happens with trainers, and there I put them on. And I think I had 8 groups or something, so it's pretty, again, it's the run of the mill day. See, having the heated mixer there is super, super great, because heated mixers no longer burn. That update was quite a few months ago at the time of the recording. Before, heated mixers used to be slower with cooking, and they burned food, so they weren't really useful at all. And then AJ, who's the developer or head developer, I guess, he's like, you know what? We want to have more things have more use. So a heated mixer usually never ever used because it was pointless, because it was too darn slow and it burned. But now, since it's quicker and it doesn't burn, it's great for something like chips. You could use it for something like onion rings. Here I'm debating about getting a prep station. I'm like, you know what? I'm at day 12. I don't need a prep station, because what am I going to just load it with? I get just in the way I do my layouts as well, guys, is you see how tight everything is, and that's done purposely. I purposely run things tight. And the main reason why is because I hate running around. Now, some people run restaurants where they have a huge area in the middle where they can run, and everything's spread out. And the thing is, though, you don't want to get a certain amount of dishes. You have to spread things out. But for me, I like having a nice tight kitchen. I could push this to have it be 1 wide. It'd just be a little bit more difficult the way the chips are working. So end up having it 2 wide. Like the up and down the left to right is 2 wide, as you can see, which is fine. Here we're at the end of the day again. I'm just getting a meat pie up and running. I do my research, and I'm trying to think about how I have it laid out. Now I end up getting the conveyor mixer because it goes rapid heated conveyor. So RHC or CRH, or however you want to do it. It's not like the CBD coffee blueprint discount, which I coined that a year ago, how the research desk cycles. So if anybody say CBD, that comes from me. I'm the first one to coin that term. Anyway, not that it matters. Now, here I was debating. I'm like, you know what? We have 3 days ago, we have 13, 14, 15, because I knew I was going to franchise, and that's all I was doing in this run. The point of it is to show you, in double speed, how I franchise a run. And some may say you make it look easy. Some may say you make it look hard. And here I'm debating about what to do as far as lay things out, because I don't want to use the safety hobs. And I mean, theoretically, I could bring the oven down. But the thing is, though, with an oven, even though it's twice as fast as a regular hob, you can't portion from an oven. And I ended up here getting another safety hob. I got another blueprint cabinet. I don't need another blueprint cabinet. I think I ended up just sticking it in there anyway. Again, I copied the mat. So again, if you're going longevity, here I'm just like messing up how I have these things rotated. Now, again, like I said, if you're having a longevity run, if you want to see how far you can go, 100% you keep buying blueprint cabinets. Here I got the floor mats, because the floor mats definitely help. Put them in front of the hobs. It'll cut down on the amount of messes, so you have tons of messes. And if there's another blueprint cabinet right there on the desk, because if you're wearing trainers and you have messes and you run over a mess, you spread mess everywhere, which is the problem. So here I'm kind of swapping around the different pots. I mean, it works out just fine for what we're doing. Now, if I would have been, again, if this would be a longevity run, I would definitely buy a second sink. Because as of now, we still don't have any automated pie crust. There's no automation done here at all right now. The only automation we have is the pie crust being made in the chips. I'd say the chips are more automated than anything, because it does the chopping and the cooking, of course. But yeah, there's like no automation here, and that's usually not the Ontario style. You know, I'm Mr. King of Automation. I mean, I may be slacking these days, but you know, look at my videos from back in June, July, August last year. You know, king of automation here. But again, it all depends on your run. If you're looking to franchise and go into your multiple tiers, you don't really need much automation. But again, with pies, the simplest thing you can do to automate pies is get yourself a mixer and get yourself a grabber. And then you can at least have auto pie crust being made. And then you could advance that. You can have that then going with a combiner with meat or mushroom, going into a safety hub. Then that could go into a prep station. So you could really, you could really get into automation. But again, for a franchise run, it's hard to get that level of automation by the time you franchise. Typically, you're at OT day 3, OT day 5 before you have that kind of automation. And here I'm doing research. I don't really need to research anything, but I know I wanted to get a danger hob, which is what the the safety hob will turn into, because I have a mod that allows portioners and combiners to cycle and hobs to cycle. Because I mean, to me, that should be in the main game anyway, or the main part of the game, which it's not. Because you can cycle mixers and bins and stuff, but other things. And look at what I ended up getting. I ended up getting a double conveyor belt here, which is like great. I ended up loading. I locked one in, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then here I'm debating about how I want to upgrade things, what I want to do. I'm like, I'm just going to buy both of these because I want to upgrade these. Now, again, we're at day 14, so there's only going to be a little bit of automation for this. We're going to research the grabbers on day 14, buy them at the beginning of day 15. We have both of our conveyor mixers, we have our safety hub, so you can see where automation can easily get hooked up at the end of today, which we get to that. I do hook it up, but again, that would last you, into overtime. Now, again, from there, you'd get more grabbers, and you wouldn't be buying grabbers every time. You'd be copying them, and you'd be doing stuff like that. And for those of you, again, who watched my videos from the past, from last year, from this year, all my automation stuff, you know how I run my automations. Usually they're pretty tight, pretty compact, pretty accurate. But again, automation is one of those things that you can do however you want. Here again, we're doing the soup. Now, again, I love soup. Now, again, if you want to automate soup, the easiest thing to automate, the best thing to automate is you have one pot that goes to a danger hob, then goes to a sink with a combiner pointing at the sink, cycling back with another grabber to a danger hob with a portioner off the danger hob. And basically the way that works is because the portioner will always keep a pot in suspension, it will never let it pass until it's empty. You don't have to get away with having smart grabbers. You basically have 2 corner grabbers, a danger hob, a sink, a combiner. All you got to do is you have to manually put in the carrot and the initial onion, but at least it'll cycle through, because the way soup works is you have to remake the broth. Like, you make your initial broth with the onion and the water, that cooks. You add the carrot, you serve it, the onion's left, you then put more water, you cook it again, which is a lot faster than the initial time, add a carrot, and then the cycle continues, because you don't actually make broth every time, which that is a tip for some of you who think you have to throw the pot away every time. You do not. Once you get through one pot of soup, all soups, I think there's 4 types of soup or 5 types, they all start with an onion, and that's just how you make the broth or the base to it. And that's basically how it runs, how that runs. And here we're getting to the end of the day. We're at day 14. I'm like, okay, cool. We have a bit of automation now. This is a good run that would easily go well into overtime, probably at least OT day 5 to 10. I ended up messing up a little bit of the research, but we ended up buying. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to set up I'm going to set up automation how it normally would be set up if I'd be getting into doing full automation. Here I'm just trying to turn it so the knobs are facing out, and I'm like, okay, this isn't right. And you'll just see how I end up doing it here. I'm like, you know what? This is the last day. I'm going to buy all the grabbers, and then having to set up. You see exactly like this. I don't have any corner grabbers. You don't need them. Again, if you'd end up just having one corner grabber and one regular grabber, you wouldn't need the third one. But here you actually have auto pie crust set up. I ended up buying an extra coffee table. Not that I need it, but again, so we have 6 plus 2. The chips are the same. Again, if this is a longevity run, you're definitely going to be wanting to get another danger hob, or mainly so another sink. And as you see right now, we have passive pies being made, which is amazing. By the way, now I finally get my trainer. I always forget my trainers, by the way. And here, you can always have one pie ready to go. I want to load up on the chips and pitch, and they're being passive. Now, if I would have been smart here, honestly, I would have automated the chips, which you would take a grabber and go potatoes, grabber to heated mixer, and then you'd have auto chips. And I know I thought of that as I was playing the run. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have done that. If I wouldn't have just stopped at the end of day 15, which is what these one-shots are about, I would have had the automated chips being done. Now, again, you still want to load up on just having more than one, but you always have one ready to go constantly. And yeah, it's pretty good that way. But again, using a heated mixer like this is a very passive way to do it. You slap a potato on there, you move it, you put another one. I mean, it literally takes, less than a second, 2 seconds, whatever to do it. And here I'm doing dishes. I never ended up upgrading a sink, which is what I would be doing probably even before today, because I have the 3 desks, the 3 cabinets. You see one's empty because I know I'm not researching today because we're ending the run. And we're at the end of the run here, guys. So I want to thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the video or enjoy these one-shots, please consider leaving me a like as well as a comment. It'd be much appreciated. And if you're enjoying these one-shots as a whole or any other video on my channel, hit that subscribe button, click the bell notification bar. Not a bar. Click the bell notification button. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one-shot. We're going to pick our franchise card here. I'm not sure which one I have the choice of. And we end up picking... What did we pick? I ended up picking savings because flower pots are trash. Thanks, guys.